TheTorah.com. Coming in making a video for you today. I got an email. I'm always getting lots of emails, and I just put them in. What I used to do when I got an email is that I would just set it in my inbox, and I would come back to it when I wanted to try to find it to make a video on it. I can't do that anymore. I just get too many emails, so what I have to do now is copy and paste it to a notepad that I keep on my desktop so that I can remember the different topics I want to do videos on. So it's just the only way I can do it. So I got an email this week, or last week, I think, and it was from Eric. It says, I have a question concerning Deuteronomy 13. In there, it clearly spells out the harsh consequences false prophets and idol worshippers are subject to. My question is, how do those set of mandates differ from the Quran when it talks about killing infidels? And this is actually a pretty easy question, in my opinion, to answer, just based on what I know about Islam. People who are Orthodox Islams, are Orthodox Muslims who actually read their Bible, because there's lots of Christians in Christendom that don't actually read their Bible, right? We all get that. But people who actually read their Bible, usually have a better understanding of what they're reading because they read it often enough that things start to make sense to them. However, when it comes to Islam, it's the same way. You have Muslims that actually read their book and go along with it, and if they do, you have what we call today most extremists that are out there. Because they're doing what their book says. They're actually going around the Middle East and destroying idols, things that our ancestors probably should have done. So, but their book is basically, in a nutshell, make the world Islam, okay? So go out, conquer the world, and win it for Islam and their prophet, who they hold up to be their prophet. So that's what they do. They make the world Islam, and if you rebel against them, they kill you. And you can be subject to them. They can conquer you as a conquered people, and you can pay tribute to them and all that stuff. But but they have different rules and guidelines that they have to follow according to their book. But their book is make the world Islam. And so when you read Deuteronomy 13 and you read some of these other Torah commandments that say, if someone's caught doing witchcraft or someone's caught picking up sticks on the Sabbath, basically what they're doing is they're turning away from God and they're being rebellious and they're doing what they want to do instead of what the Father commands them to do. And they're commanded to be stoned for that or to be killed for that. The difference is it's about the land, okay? It's very simple, very clear. Keep the land pure. The land I'm giving you is a promise to Jacob that I made, and I'm giving it to his children for his inheritance. I made a promise to Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and for Jacob, this is their land. Now, you keep it pure. And he says over and over again, I'm not giving you this land based on your own righteousness. I'm giving it as a promise because I made a promise to Jacob. So what it comes down to is this land here I'm giving you, you keep it pure. If you find iniquity in it, kill them. Get it out of the land. It will not be allowed to stay in this land. Now, what the rest of the world out there does, I don't care. I don't care what the rest of the world does out there. And some people are like, oh, how can God not care what the rest of the world does? He absolutely does care. No, he doesn't. And this is my point. Unlike Islam, where it says go out and conquer the world, you're basically forcing a bunch of people to worship their version of God. And our Father doesn't want that. He doesn't want a bunch of robots, because if you're forced to do something, your heart's really not in it to begin with. Does that not make sense? No one wants to be forced to do anything. Our Father wants you to come to him with an open heart and with open arms and a willingness to obey his word and keep his commandments, knowing full well that if we love God, he has promises he has to keep as well. That's part of the covenant. And that he will bless you, give you life more abundantly by keeping his commandments, judgments, and statutes. And so that's the difference between Islam and the Quran and the Torah, is that the Quran is make the world Islam. And the Torah is like, you will be a witness. If you, my people, who are called by my name, will basically keep my commandments, I'm going to bless you so abundantly, the rest of the world will come to you and just want to know, what is it that you are doing to receive so much abundance? There's rain on your land. You have industry in your land. You have there's so many good things. You have trade going on in your life. What is it you're doing? Well, God, all of us are worshiping idols and we're doing all these other things, but your land has blessings. Our land has curses. What is it you're doing? So I believe the Father, although the Torah never actually specifically says this, it's very clear to me when you read it and you just put together some basic reading comprehension. The Father is putting his people up as a witness to the other nations so that they will come to them. That's what it means, and that's the correct interpretation of Exodus 19 when it says you will be a kingdom of priests because you will be a witness to the rest of the nations. And they'll come to you wondering what it is you're doing to receive such abundance. Whereas Islam and the Quran teach, go out and subjugate the world. So it's subjugation, conquering, versus being a witness. Does that make sense? The Father does not want a bunch of robots. He doesn't want people that are forced to worship him and forced to obey him. He wants you to want to obey him. He wants you to come to him and with a willingness, be able to serve him and rejoice in the abundance he gives you in return because you are a faithful servant. All right, I hope that answers your question. We'll leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.